Get ready to dive into incredible stories of success, wealth, and perseverance. Why shouldn't you be one of them? Let's begin.
Some mistakes have no return. He lost everything overnight. Once a millionaire, now completely broke. This story reveals how greed can destroy even the wealthiest individuals. Daniel Crawford, a 35-year-old financial expert, had climbed the ladder on Wall Street and made millions through smart stock market investments. He wasn't just successful, he was considered a prodigy in financial circles. His instincts were razor sharp, and his ability to predict market trends made him a star among investors. He had a fortune of $100 million. Yachts, luxury cars, private jets, sprawling mansions in the most prestigious neighborhoods. For him, money was just a game and he was winning. He loved the thrill of making money, the excitement of watching numbers rise on the screen. Every morning, Daniel would sit in his luxurious penthouse, sipping the most expensive coffee money could buy, while checking his ever-growing bank account. The walls of his home were adorned with art from renowned painters, each piece worth more than most people's annual salaries. But it was never enough. No matter how much he had, there was always the desire for more. More cars, more houses, more power, more influence. The hunger for wealth was insatiable, and with each passing day, Daniel's appetite grew. His friends admired his success, but they also saw the signs of a man who was pushing too far. And that's when he made the biggest mistake of his life. One day, an old friend reached out to him with an unbelievable offer. It wasn't just an investment opportunity. It was a golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. A stock market manipulation scheme that promised astronomical returns. In this scheme, certain stocks would be artificially inflated, creating a frenzy in the market, and then sold at the peak. The plan was flawless, or so it seemed. It was risky, yes, but the potential reward was beyond anything Daniel had ever dreamed of. His heart raced as he listened to the details. The idea of doubling, even tripling his fortune in just a few months was too tempting to resist. Daniel decided to invest 90% of his fortune in this plan, because he thought, if I don't take this opportunity, I'd be a fool. He was convinced this was his chance to become one of the richest men in the world. The numbers made sense, or so he believed. The logic seemed airtight. His confidence in his own judgment had never wavered before, and he wasn't about to start doubting now. What he didn't know was that this would become one of the biggest financial scandals in history. At first, everything seemed perfect. Daniel's stocks skyrocketed. His bank balance rose from $100 million to $180 million. Every day he checked his portfolio, he felt invincible. His confidence grew with every passing hour. He started making plans for a new yacht, a bigger mansion, maybe even buying a private island. He envisioned himself gracing the covers of financial magazines, being celebrated as a genius who had cracked the code to endless wealth. He was so certain of his success that he decided to invest the rest of his fortune as well. He ignored all warnings and put everything into the scheme. The greed took over and blinded him to the risks. His friends tried to warn him, but he laughed off their concerns. "I know what I'm doing," he said, brushing off their advice. "You'll see. This is the future." His arrogance was palpable, and his belief in his own infallibility was unshakable. But one morning, everything changed. The government detected the fraud and froze all the accounts. Daniel woke up to a series of frantic messages and missed calls. The stock values plummeted faster than anyone could have imagined. Billions vanished in hours, leaving countless investors in financial ruin. Daniel's hands shook as he reached for his phone. Praying it was all a misunderstanding, he rushed to his computer, his heart pounding in his chest. But the truth stared back at him from the cold, unfeeling screen. Daniel lost his entire fortune overnight. It was gone, wiped out as if it never existed. His heart pounded in his chest as he refreshed his bank account page over and over, hoping for a different result. But the numbers didn't change. His account balance showed zero. His mind raced, trying to find an explanation, trying to convince himself that there had to be a mistake. The weight of realization hit him like a tidal wave. His empire had crumbled, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. But it was no mistake. His accounts were empty. His name was plastered across every financial news network as a reckless investor, caught in a massive fraud case. His assets were frozen, his reputation was shattered, and the IRS was now investigating him. The luxurious life he had built was crumbling before his eyes. The walls of his penthouse felt like they were closing in, suffocating him with the memories of his arrogance. Daniel was drowning in millions of dollars in debt. The bank sent him foreclosure notices. The luxury apartment he had called home for years was no longer his. His cars were seized, his properties confiscated. The man who once lived in luxury was now walking the streets, reading debt messages on his phone, wondering how he had let it all slip away. The friends who once celebrated his success now avoided his calls. He was alone, isolated in his failure. His friends abandoned him. No one wanted to do business with him anymore. No one returned his calls. He was now seen as a financial criminal. His lavish lifestyle had vanished in an instant. He went from extravagant parties to sleepless nights filled with regret. He spent hours staring at the ceiling, replaying every decision that led to his downfall. The once confident, unstoppable Daniel was now a shell of the man he used to be. Looking back, Daniel realized one thing. His greed had destroyed everything. He had taken the biggest risk of his life, and it had cost him everything he owned, everything he worked for. The very ambition that had driven him to success had also been his undoing. The hunger for more had blinded him to the dangers, and now he was left with nothing but regret. And this story teaches a major lesson for all of us. Never put all your money into a single risky investment. If an investment sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Financial mistakes can ruin even millionaires. Wealth without wisdom is a recipe for disaster. Success isn't just about making money. It's about keeping it, protecting it, and knowing when to walk away. If you want to be rich, learn how to manage your money wisely. True wealth isn't measured by the size of your bank account, but by the security and peace of mind that comes with financial responsibility. Daniel's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most successful can fall if they let greed guide their decisions. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more. See you in the next video.